change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity.
Lakefield Enterprises is proud to present its latest acquisition, Headlocks and Happy Hour. Now that I am the controlling interest in this corporation of Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook, I am now taking over this show. Mr. Television Announcer, your services are no longer needed. Amos and Andy, your services are no longer needed. Wait a minute. Security. What's that noise? The last time I heard that, I woke up in intensive care 72 hours later. Fade to black. I'm out of here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of Headlocks and Happy Hour. I'm your host, Chris, co-host Mark, Joey, the twins are here. We have a very, very special guest. We are absolutely ecstatic. The 5-time ECW World Heavyweight Champion is with us. He's been a superstar in WCW, WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, the legend, in my book, the Hall of Famer, the icon, the hardcore icon, the Sandman. Sandman, thanks for being here with us tonight, pal.
What up, guys? Let's go World Cup.
Are you enjoying the World Cup?
Well, dude, you get to gamble on it, you know what I mean? So that keeps you interested, you know?
Yeah. I'm not a big soccer guy.
But I'm not either. But, I mean, you got to like USA right now.
I'm the same way. You think USA pulls it out tonight at 8 o'clock?
Well, we should, from everything that I hear. I mean, we're favored like 2.5 to 1 or 3 to 1. So,
okay, let's hope, brother. Let's hope. Right. So, Sammy, let's start off with your. First of all, how's your health, man? You look great.
Thanks. Hey, I'm still alive, dude. A lot of guys aren't.
I know, my friend. I know. We're happy as hell you're alive, dude. It's good. It's great seeing you. And have you always been like a wrestling fan growing up?
Dude, ever since I was 5 years old. I was Bruno, Superstar, Billy Graham, Dusty. That's where I started.
Oh, wow.
Back in the 70s. I was watching it in 1970.
Oh, my God, yeah. And that was, and you were born in Philly, right?
I was born in like Wilmington, Delaware, but then we ended up moving here. I've always pretty much had a house like right outside of Philadelphia for forever. Like, no matter where else I was living, I always kept the house back here.
Right, and you were a Spectrum guy, all right? You would go down to Spectrum and.
Yeah, dude, I seen it all. And carried pieces of the steel cage match because back then security was nothing back then, like not like anything like it is now. There was literally nobody. There was no guys with yellow shirts and black lettering back then, dude. It was just regular dudes like rolling the cage in. I just got in line with the rest of them. They handed me a piece. I grabbed one end and went to somebody else, dude. Then I dove under the ring because I wanted to see. Now, this is the second time Gorilla Monsoon threw me out of the building. So I dove under the ring because I wanted to see if there was a spring underneath the ring. I always wanted to know that. So I dove under the ring, and before you know it, I'm getting pulled out by my ankle, and it was Gorilla grabbing me and being like, yo, he even knew my name was Hack at that point. He's like, come on, Hack, and he threw me out.
That's the greatest. So wait a minute. So yeah, you've been called Hack since you were a kid, right?
Yeah, my brother gave it to me when I was like 5. He was 8, I was like 5, and yeah, I've had that name forever. My grandkids call me Hack.
Oh my God!
My grandparents, parents, everybody.
I just got to look at myself in a mustache. I just grew this. I had to grow it for a film.
Yeah, it looks it.
I look like an out-of-work porn star. I just saw it in a fucking thing there. So sorry, I look like that. What do you guys have? You guys a question for the Hack Man?
What made you start off in ECW?
What?
What made you go to ECW
in the first place?
Because I had a deal with Paul that I was supposed to be the highest paid player. Nobody had like drawn up contracts at that point yet. I was supposed to be his highest paid player, and he paid Sabu like I think like $1,000. Like he paid me like 12,000, and like gave Sabu like 13,000. We might have been in the same match or whatever. But yeah, that's the only reason why that was the only reason why I quit.
How was Paul Heyman?
I don't know. Great. He did great things for me. You know what I'm saying? Back then, I had a problem. Dude, it's just like any wrestling promoter. You know what I mean? You can only believe so much that they're going to say. But hey, Paulie did great to me. Every angle he ever gave me like turned into gold. So I mean, I helped too, but he just kept giving me the ball and let me run.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and the first federation you were in was the Tri-State, right? Tri-State Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, with Goodhart.
Joel Goodhart, and you were the Mr. Sandman, the surfer, right?
Yeah, he got my name. You guys, it was a billboard, a Mr. Sandman box spring and mattress billboard on 95 right in Ben Salem. He came to the school that night and he goes, "I just saw your name on a billboard. You're going to be Mr. Sandman."
So did you get the surfer gimmick? You got the board?
Well, see, the first time I saw Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, I went there with my buddy Ruben. And I was like, I never really thought that I could be like a pro wrestler until I went to my first indie show, and that was Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. And the first two guys were Hot Body and Stetson. And I said to my buddy, I'm like, I can do this. And literally, they would. Goodhart was just starting a wrestling school there. I gave him like $3,000 like a couple days later, and 3 months later than that, I was in the ring. 6 months later, I was in Memphis working with Jerry Lawler in main events in the USWA. That's how I got the Sandman gimmick, because Lawler wanted to have more of a gimmick. So if I'm the Sandman, I'm like, all right, more of a gimmick is a surfboard and a wetsuit. So that's where that all came out of. And as soon as I got back, Paulie looked at it. The first night I met Paul, not too far, we were. It was Cabrini College, maybe right by Valley Forge. I think it was Cabrini College. I walked in. Paul Heyman looked at it. He goes, "We're going to break that over your head tonight." I'm like, "Perfect." I didn't want to carry that thing around. I didn't like it anyway. You know what I mean? So I was happy, dude. He looked right at me. He goes, "We're breaking that over your head." I'm like, "Yes."
That was my next question. How you went from that to the actual Sandman we know and love? But
well, no, that was a long process. Like the beer, the cigarette, woman, the bleeding before you get into the ring, to the tattoo here. You know, it took a couple years to the music, to the 10-minute entrance. You know what I'm saying? It was a process.
It was a process, because we all saw you. The first time we saw you was Channel 48.
Yeah. Staying up, late night TV.
Channel 48.
Like
what were you guys, like 10 years old?
We were 10 years old.
Yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning. 1 o'clock in the morning.
We worked together.
Yeah, work in.
That's
so
great.
Him and I are brothers, and we would stay up like Friday, Saturday night from 48 at like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and watching it. We were like hooked. I think we were like probably like 11, 12. Because when I actually went to high school, I actually went to some of your like shows that weren't at the ECW arena. You guys
like the beer hall? We did one at a place.
Yep, the Armory.
Yeah, that place.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we did a coke there.
That was insane. That was awesome.
And we did you go to the one at 5 Points in Montgomery County? We did a flea market there. There was like a 5 Points flea market. Kind of by the airport. There was an airport out there.
I didn't go. I went to the Lulu when you guys were at the Lulu Temple.
All right, a couple times at the Lulu.
Yeah, I want to lay it.
And then you guys used to do the armor, the National Guard armor on Belvoir Road. You did that a few times. I went there, and then eventually I went down to ECW Arena for 1 or 2 days.
Taz choked me out at the Lulu Temple because I had just flown in literally that morning. It was a Friday, and I lived in Salt Lake City. So I had an operation at 6 a.m. in Salt Lake City, and they're 2 hours later than us. So I don't know. They did a little cut, like a little incision, and like they snipped off a little like my ACL or MCL or something like that. I got on a plane with me and my daughter, flew back to Philadelphia. I got into Lulu Temple at like late, like 6:30 at night or something like that. And Paulie's like, "Hey, Taz is going to choke you out." I'm like, "Okay." So I have crutches, you guys. So I'm sure it's on tape somewhere. Or I got like one crutch with me, I think, on the way out to the ring, and he just chokes me out. I never would have let him choke me out unless it was for that. It was just a way to get out of something. You know what I'm saying?
How was Taz? Were you buddies with Taz?
No, everybody had a problem with Taz. He was just too serious. You know what I mean? And the business isn't like that. You know what I mean? It's just he was just too intense and too serious for people. And he thought he was tougher than he was until Van Dam slapped him around, and then in the locker room,
right?
pick a hand. Yeah, and then he changed a little bit. But now I'm sure he's different now. You know what I mean? But I don't know. And he's put in a little bad situation too. Like, I don't know. You take any young guy that like gets like that's getting to be famous and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Paul's got him choking out Paul Varlins, who's like a UFC dude and stuff. You know, I know that could get to your head a little bit. You know what I'm saying? To some people. But to me, I'm like, dude, this is fake. This isn't real. You didn't just choke out Paul Varlins. Yeah. You know what I mean? You just didn't choke out Bam Bam. Bam Bam would have bitch slapped you, dude, and you'd have been done. Bam Bam was a tough dude. You know, and he believed his own shit too much, and that's what people didn't like.
Yeah. Now, one of my favorite angles you did, I don't know if this was your first big one, but it was the blind angle.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was there. That maybe this. Yeah, it was right there. It's hard to remember.
Dude, you stayed in your house for how long?
Dude, you got to remember, back then, nobody had a phone in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it is now. Right. You know, nobody knew anything. You know what I mean? It was like 3 weeks or whatever. But Paulie makes it seem like it was, but it was much harder. But it wasn't hard because, dude, it was the mid-'90s.
Right. Was that a Paul idea, that angle?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think he got it from somewhere because somebody else, I had just actually seen it maybe on one of those Vice shows. I think somebody else, maybe the Junkyard Dog or something, did a blind angle or something like that. So that's where he got the blind thing from. How we went about it was a little bit different, but somebody else had done the blind angle before. But I didn't know that then.
Yeah. No, that was brilliant. And and I want to talk about Woman because I think she's so underrated. I think she's up there with Miss Elizabeth and Sherry.
I agree.
And I just don't think she's putting that right light. I think she's so good. I think she's one of the greatest.
Well, you got to understand, she didn't. Think about the people that saw Miss Elizabeth compared to the people that saw her and Kevin Sullivan in UWF or something or Florida Championship Wrestling. You know what I mean? You didn't have the eyes. I only know through, like, I wrestled my first title match was Morocco. I had seen Morocco in WWE before, but there was other guys that came, like Kevin Sullivan, Abdul the Butcher. I had only seen Abdul the Butcher in a magazine before. You know what I'm saying? These guys are coming into the locker room that did some of them I had seen because I was going to WWF shows back then. You know what I mean? But some of the other guys that you never saw on the East Coast in the WWF, because like Goodhart was using guys that were older, and like Manny Fernandez and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Guys that were a little bit past their prime, they were bringing in, and they were never in here because there wasn't any indies in Philadelphia until Tri-State Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, and
I never went to an indie until that very first Tri-State Wrestling Alliance show. I didn't know there was such thing as indies. I only read the magazines, and I just assumed those territories were just like WWE.
Yeah, the bigger ones.
Or WWF.
Yeah, is Joel still running shows? Didn't he just run one?
No, Joel. No, he did a retirement or so. He's had some health problems. I know that. Him and K-Dog, same thing maybe. Well, they might have both lost their legs or something because of shout out to Love K-Dog. Well, yeah, what a great dude. Love you, Kay.
Well, yeah, and rest easy, woman. She was just an amazing.
Oh yeah,
My favorite talent.
Dude, she taught me so much. Like, speaking of the blind angle. Well, now I was going to do the blind angle when we first started talking about it. It was me. Paulie said what we were going to do, and then we break off, and then we go, and then we put it together ourselves. So we're going to put it together ourselves, and I'm talking to Tommy, and I'm like, and I pictured it as like a Tommy Rich, like because Tommy Rich was because he had that blonde hair and that pasty white skin, that blood would show up real good on him. So I'm telling her, I'm like, yeah, I'll get some juice and I'll bleed. I'll go all throughout the crowd and stuff like that. She goes, no, you won't. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, she goes, if we want people to think this is real, you're not going to do that. You're going to hit the ground. And if you watch the angle again, what made it so not wrestling, what made it look so real was there was no sell by Tommy or no sell by her. It was she looked at him. He looked down at the ground, down at the mat at me. She looked at Matt. He looked up. They looked at each other. They both looked down at me oh, what just happened? You know what I mean? Something like that. And that's what made it. Really, that's what made the whole angle was what happened right after he hits me, right after he blinds me, supposedly.
You told the story. That's what it is, telling a story. That's what wrestling's right?
Yeah, and I trust her. I was whatever she said, I was doing. She came with Kevin Sullivan. You know what I mean? She obviously got to know what she's doing.
Oh my God! And life is a bitch, and then you marry one. What? Who was that about? What was that quote?
I don't know. I think I made that up. I don't know. But you guys know that was my real wife. That was my real wife and my real son in the ring with me in the Raven.
I would get to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can.
My favorite story you tell is when Paul Heyman tries to tell you. You can tell the story. Who he's on the phone with to try and play your son.
Oh yeah. So it was. This was I think it was in Allentown where I think they were the Bad Crew with Damien. Somebody had this gorgeous blonde, strawberry red-haired girl that used to come out with him. But we were having a show up there in Allentown or whatever, and I walk in and we just drove up. It was me, Todd, my wife, freaking who knows, Fonzie was probably with us, and my kids. Todd was in the building before me. So I walk in the building and Todd's sitting next to Paul. Paul gets up. He goes, listen, I was just talking to Macaulay Culkin today on the phone. We're thinking about bringing you in as your son. And Raven's going to steal him. I'm like, we got a Macaulay Culkin outside in the van. He goes, okay, we'll use him. Sits right back down and starts talking to Todd again like nothing ever happened. So he must have known that's what I was going to say. You know what I'm saying? He's like, he know my kid looks just like him.
Yeah, he wasn't really talking to Macaulay Culkin, I'm assuming. Right?
I seriously doubt it. Although he was Macaulay Culkin, he's a wrestling fan. It ends up turning out later. We find that out. But I didn't think he was, not everybody had.
We all known that was a kid from Home Alone. But I'll tell you what, I told Tyler this too. In my book, that was one of the greatest angles I've ever seen in wrestling, ever.
Something different. Something different, so dude. With a kid.
All
that violence around a 6-year-old kid, that's good stuff. Nobody's ever done that. Nobody ever will do it.
And, dude, he was so good in that role. I was like, dude, better Macaulay Culkin.
Dude, I remember watching it. It was fantastic.
I'll tell you what, when you can get the ECW crowd to feel bad for you, because they're a tough crowd. And when you were walking down crying, you could hear a pin drop throughout that whole place.
That was hard. You know what I mean? That reaction's hard, dude. Mad's easy. Happy's easy, dude. Sad, wanting to cry, your heart's broken. That shit ain't easy.
No, you killed it, dude. Now, how did you guys? I saw the thing. So, because you guys really played it off. So they would leave the building after a show, right? You would pick them up? Is that how it was?
What? Yeah, and sometimes we were all driving together in the van together. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a big van. There was a couch along the back that 3 people could sit in. Then there was 2 captain's chairs, and then there was 2 captain's chairs in the back with the TV, and then the 2 captain's chairs in the front. we've easily had like eight guys in there at a certain time driving together. You know, that was the fun part. All of us driving in the same van, in the Sandman van together.
The Sandman van.
Yeah, that's what we used to call it.
Any good stories? What happened inside the Sandman van?
We've been pulled over a couple times. Thank God the cops knew who we were. It was Guido's hiding his pot because, dude, pot was, oh my God, you got caught with pot pack. And this was probably maybe almost 10 years before Van Dam got caught with a pot and when they took the title from him in WWE. This was even before that. Guido was hiding his pot underneath his potatoes because we had just stopped at KFC. Yeah, dude, just stupid stuff. Like you couldn't get a DUI. There wasn't DUIs and stuff back then. It wasn't huge. You know what I mean? It was just a different day and age.
Now, when you and your wife and your kid and Tyler were in that angle, you had to kayfabe, right? I don't like using business terms. I'm not in business, but you guys played that angle off so much, right? So he was with Raven, and your wife was with Raven. So you would leave the building separately. You pick them up somewhere. I saw.
Yeah, somewhere like at a gas station or somewhere right around the corner. That's just how we roll. But a lot of guys are like that. If you're doing a program with a guy, sometimes you're driving with him too, and you're gonna need somebody else. You need a meeting point after the show.
And you and Raven were magic together. Crucifixion.
Yeah, he taught me a lot too, dude. He was smarter in the business at that point than I was. Well, because you got to. He was producing a TV show called It Was Saturday. It was on Saturday afternoon, and it was like a 4th of July, like a flag would come up. He was producing a show because he was Shane's good buddy. So Vince had him producing a show there, and Vince and Raven wanted to wrestle. So that's how he ended up in ECW, because Vince saw him as a producer, a director kind of dude, and he wanted to be a wrestler. So that's how he ended up with us.
Oh, yeah, because he was Johnny Polo, right, or something was his name.
Yeah, but then he was behind the scenes, like directing stuff or whatever the heck he was doing, something behind the scenes, and he wasn't happy with that. Well, you got to respect that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, for a dude who has the dude can't hit a baseball. The dude cannot make a jump shot. The dude could not hit a slap shot. He could not kick a soccer ball. He has zero athletic ability whatsoever, but he made it in professional wrestling.
Brilliant.
Unbelievable. He was the most unathletic person I've ever been in the ring with. The Big Show was more athletic than Raven was.
Wow. You think I'm more athletic than him?
Huh?
You think I'm more athletic than him?
It's close. It's close. I know the camera's not doing you any good from where I'm sitting.
No, I'm skinnier in person.
So, Sandman, one of my favorite ECW guys was obviously you, Tommy Dreamer, and Shane Douglas. How was the faction?
What?
I was working with Shane Douglas and the faction.
Tommy was fine. Shane Douglas was another one who was just full of himself, and he thought he was smarter and better than everybody else in the locker room. That's why he had a problem with a lot of people.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah. He thought he was smart. Yeah, he just thought he was better than everybody else. Well, dude, you see, in his promos, it's like everywhere he went, he pissed off somebody and got fired. You know what I mean? Whether it was in WCW or, dude, remember the 3 guys left him when they left. Benoit, Malenko, and Guerrero. Shane was supposed to be part of those 3 when they left, and Vince didn't want them, so they had to lie to Shane. All 3 of those lied to Shane on the phone and said, no, we're not making a deal with them. And then he had to find out later that they all made the deal.
Oh, wow.
So that was just Shane back then. He's totally different now. Now. But, yeah, he was really full of himself back then. And very hard to work with.
Sabu, you guys were magic, too. That's another guy we lost recently.
Didn't have to talk. You just went out there and you did it. We didn't have to talk much. It just happened. Same thing with Cactus. You just talk while you're out there. Well, you got to understand, it's like if you're wrestling a Sabu, you're wrestling a Cactus. We're not doing tackle, drop down, hip toss, arm drag, body slam. You know what I mean? Duck this, boom, boom, boom. It's more of a slower pace, 5 to 7 big spots during the match. Not like an AEW show, an AEW match now. These guys got like 200 things to remember easily. You know what I'm saying? Like when you got like that Swerve, did you watch their pay-per-view the other night?
The Swerve, yeah.
Dude, you know how many things you have to remember in some of those matches? Or like the Guns in that very first match with those teams, dude. Those spots, they did like 500 spots in that. They did more spots in that match than I've done in my whole career. Easily. That's no lie, too. That match was unbelievable. There's like 1 million spots in that match.
RVD. I was RVD to work with.
Huh?
I was RVD to work with, and as a person, RVD.
As a person, he's great. I did a podcast at Indigo. I was at Indigo in New Jersey. It's a pot store over there. I was doing a podcast with the owner of that place today. We were talking about, dude, Van Dam, all he wants to do is smoke pot. It's crazy. That dude smoked pot all day. I mean, dude, I have this card that I've been hitting since I've been on with you. I got this cartridge I'm hitting with you. I'm double fisted, but Van Dam, oh my God, he's crazy. And what a nice dude. You know, he's like, some people are, he gives people energy. Some people are energy robbers that like suck energy out of you. Rob gives energy to you. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah, just seems it. He seems it. Now I know you guys. When you mentioned Cactus, I know you and Cactus had a little bit of a hard relationship in ECW for a while, right? It seemed like he was more of a problem with you than you had with him.
Yeah, because his supposed problem was. Hold on, I'm trying to. How can I do this thing here? Hold on for a second, guys.
Take your time, no problem. You're like Joe. It's like Joe.
Your fans on. No, the problem started with Cactus was he called Todd Gordon. He called Todd Gordon and says, "I'm not working with Sandman anymore if he's drinking before his matches." And Todd's like, "Why?" He goes, because he hurts me or something like that. And Todd goes, "Wait a minute, you're the one that just knocked him out last month with a frying pan." And Todd's like, "From what I know, you're the one that turned him. He hasn't hurt you." So, and then Todd tells me this: he doesn't realize how close that me and Todd are. I mean, me and Todd are like this. We're like best friends, fucking ever since we first met. I was talking to him this morning. It's 6:57 this morning. I woke up and I had to text him something. That's how close we still are, too. And yeah, so he complained about that. So like 2 days, that was like a Wednesday, and we were wrestling Friday in Briarcliff, which is, I live in Havertown right now, which is like 20 minutes from my house. I just did an appearance at a bar there like less than a month ago. So what I did was I sat outside. I didn't even go, well, because it was like an Elks Lodge. You know what an Elks Lodge is? They're like real small kitchen, no real locker room there. So I didn't go even inside the building, and me and him were the main event. And of course I'm outside drinking, and I'm getting more drunk than I normally would just to piss him off more. And so I walked in. So they played my music. I got into the ring and I said, "Cactus, yes, I've been drinking. I killed a bear." And I said, "What, are you going to knock him out to the ring now?" Oh, he was not happy about it because I got him. You know, I got him. He had to come out.
I did see your last match, though. You guys seemed to bury the hatchet. Was that a real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally a real thing. Yeah, dude.
Life goes on, right? You move on.
Yeah. The frame of mind that I had then is so different than the frame of mind that I have now. You know, you guys know what it is. If you're a little bit older, you know what it is. It's totally different. You know, when you're all jacked up and young and freaking, you're all famous, you're on TV. You know what I mean? Your head gets a little bit screwed up.
Yeah, I'm 27, and I know it's like.
What did you say? 47?
27.
Oh God! Whoa! Seriously?
No, I'm about 46. So you went. He was like, "What the fuck? You look horrible." So you did ECW. You were amazing. You had a great career there, and then All of a sudden, you went to WCW, this hardcore hack. What led to that?
Well, that was easy. So I had quit when I found out Paul. So I leave the locker room. We got our paychecks. I leave the locker room. We were in like Dayton, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, something like that. I'm driving to Cincinnati. I called Todd. I said I'm quitting. He said why? I told him what the story was. So then I called Paul and I quit right then. Within 48 hours, I had literally within like 48 hours, I had a job in WCW for $250,000 a year.
Wow.
I quit. I quit Paul. I got home. I flew from Cincinnati. I had a house in Salt Lake. Then I went to Salt Lake. I called Raven because I had been in Atlanta to Diamond Dallas Page's birthday party, and I had never met Dallas before. But me and Dallas hit it off real good at his birthday party, so I knew I could probably call him because Dallas was the guy back then. You know what I mean? Dallas was the guy getting everybody jobs. Yeah, I called Dallas. He goes, "Yeah, I had a plane ticket." So it was Saturday night. I quit by Monday afternoon. By Monday, like 3:00 in the afternoon, I had a job for 3 years, $250,000 a year. That quick. And then when I got fired from WCW, I had a job back at ECW in less than 20 minutes. JJ Dillon calls me, says they're releasing me. I called Todd Gordon. I said, "What should I do?" He goes, "I'll call you back in a minute." He goes, "All right, Paul, he'll take you back."
Who's your favorite?
And I got a pay increase. I went from $3,000 a week to $4,000 a week with Paul.
Oh, wow, nice.
Who was your favorite guy in WCW to work with? Was there anybody that stood out there?
Well, dude, that company was so like crazy. Like I would hang out with like Conan, Rey Mysterio, Juventud, fucking Psychosis. Those are the guys that I mostly hung out with there. And Bam Bam, when we were running, like me and Bam Bam would travel together in WCW when we opened up every show. Like Nash gets the book. Nash gets the book Saturday night or something like this. Sunday, JJ Dillon calls me and says, "Nash just got the book last night. He wants you in." I had been sitting for like 6-7 months, making $5,000 a week, doing nothing. And I'm hoping, oh my God, I might be able to sit for 3 years on this contract and never have to work for him. If Nash didn't get the book, I honestly think I could have sat for the whole time because they go under a year after that. Yeah, so I could have easily got lost in the shuffle. But what was I saying? What were we talking about?
Oh, yeah, who you liked working with in WCW?
Yeah, I gave you the guys I hung out. Bam Bam, because I had to, me and Bam Bam were really cool. And he was so easy to work with.
Did you ever have interactions with like Hogan, Flair, Piper, any of those
Dude,
guys?
you never saw those guys. Dude, who knows who knows how much cocaine they were blowing up their noses them days, dude. You got to remember, this is the 90s, dude. You did not see those guys. Dusty Rhodes was like the Century outside the room where all the NWO was hanging out. Dude, Dusty hung outside that room and nobody got inside that. Nobody gets past Dusty. So if you had a problem, you talk to Dusty.
That's phenomenal.
You never got in that room with those guys. You would never see them around. I had to work. Yeah, I did a match with Rick Steiner just to get him over because he was working with Sting in a pay-per-view or something like that. But I mean, literally, we talked for like 2 minutes before we went out there and just went out there and did it. And he wasn't. It's just I was out there to put him over. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't care about me.
And going back to ECW, to me, one of the greatest entrances because it was hush hush right to the audience. Nobody knew, right?
Knew what?
When the lights went out, when you came back to ECW.
Oh no, but dude, me, Paul, Dreamer, and Todd Gordon were the only people that knew.
That was one of the most.
And we had to hold it for like 3 weeks. We were waiting because I think we were waiting for it. The show was a couple days before Halloween. Yeah, they fired me like September. I don't know. They fired me like September 10th or something like that, and then I guess by like October 29th or I don't know, something like that.
Unreal. And then ECW had another great run, but then after that, you went back. You did some indie stuff before you got to WWE. You did one generation, I want to ask you about XPW.
Well, those are guys in California where New Jack threw what's his name off of the top, off of like a 40-foot scaffold. Yeah, Rob was a little bit nuts.
Wasn't he a porn guy too?
Yeah, he was a porn. Yeah, that was a good thing about his company, dude. There was porn chicks everywhere in the locker room. everywhere. There was
fit in with this stash.
Yeah, they would have loved that porn stash.
Oh my God! But
that company was crazy. The boys ran that company. Right, but no, Black was a good guy, dude. I never had a problem with the guy. You know what I mean? So whatever anybody else says about him, I didn't care because I never had a problem with him.
Yeah.
He let me do whatever I wanted.
You mentioned New Jack, and that was infamous that night when he threw more. I was like, what? That's the one guy in wrestling scared the shit out of me, New Jack.
Yeah, he should.
How was he in person to deal with? God rest his
soul.
soul.
Easy. Dude. Well, the one time in the locker room, he threw a bottle at me, and I'm sitting talking to Guido. I don't know what the hell it was over. But we were partying later on that night. But we were in the locker room. I said something to piss him off. He was drinking a bottle of beer. He threw it at me. I put my hand up. It broke on my wrist, but most of the bottle went on Guido, who was sitting next to me. Yeah, and then it was over right after that. I like New Jack a lot.
And it was really him, right? Was that an act or was that?
Yeah, he's like me, dude. People are real. You know what I'm saying? The real people are the good ones.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what anybody else thinks about him, that dude was real. And when he talked, you knew you could believe what he was saying. And that's very important to me when I'm having a conversation with anybody. And if I can't believe you, I'm not having a conversation with you. Yeah. And that's the whole wrestling business because everybody just talks shit. Oh my God. When I got to WWE pay-per-views, they would fly in 120 dudes would come in for a pay-per-view. And let's say out of those 120 people, let's say 40 of them back then were untouchables. And the other 70, 80 people were just there trying to get their little business in because they ain't been seen in a couple months. They don't want to get fired. So everybody's like trying to get over. It's horrible. It was so bad there.
Oh my God. Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
So Dreamer, going back to ECW real fast, because I meant to ask you about Tommy Dreamer. He's the one guy, it's funny, man, because you were the guy that, to me, was the icon of ECW. And you got him over, I thought. I don't know. I didn't really know much about Dreamer until you whooped his ass with a cane.
Well, nobody knew anything about me until then. We were both growing together.
Where did the cane come from?
The kid, Michael Fay, he was his dad. His dad had a job in Thailand, and this kid was like, I don't know, 10, 12 years old, and he was out with some kids from Thailand, and he spray painted some cars. Really big news it was huge news back then. The kid's getting his 8 lashes or whatever. So Paul calls Todd. Todd calls me. He says, Paul's got a great idea for you. He wants you to get to the studio. The studio, I was living in Newtown Square then. The studio was in Malvern, which was like 20 minutes from me. I'm like, oh, yeah. So I get to the studio. Paul's like, come outside. I'm smoking a cigarette. He's telling me, he goes, you know about the kid? Because he knew I knew about politics and stuff. I said, yeah, the kid that's going to get the lashes. He goes, you're going to come to the ring with a cane. I'm like, well, Paul, what am I going to use as a cane? We happen to be standing underneath a tree. He looked up. He ripped a branch off a tree, took the twigs off, said, put some tape around this and cut a promo. That's how hard. But I had seen Tojo Yamamoto in in a magazine picture somewhere, and he had one of the kendo sticks that I bring to the ring now. So I wasn't going to the ring with a branch with the duct tape on it. You know what I mean? So that's why I saw the kendo thing, and it took me a couple weeks to find one, but I eventually found one.
It's legendary ever since. Now TNA, you worked there for a little bit. How was Dixie Carter? How was working in TNA?
Oh, dude, I did, dude. I was I was partying so huge back then. Dude, I was snorting like 580s a day, Oxy 80s. Me and the devil, me and the red guy, I would call him, Sinister Minister.
Yeah, I love that guy.
We would every Wednesday night, me and him, after the show, we'd sit up all night in my room or his room and snort coke together. That's how that company was.
And I saw an interview with him where you guys would do. You guys are both very intelligent, so you would do trivia back and forth. Is that true?
Oh yeah, people would come into our room and be able, like, they'd be like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?" They would have no idea. Yeah, he's real intelligent, dude.
Yeah.
Real
It said
intelligent.
you are too. It said you are too. Both of you guys.
Yeah, yeah, we'd have some great conversations, me and him.
I don't know what's going on. WWE. So we're gonna go there. ECW One Night Stand. I'm gonna go on record say you are to me, and I told this to everybody. Undertaker, whatever, Hogan, whatever. You're the greatest entrance of all time. In my
Layfield says it. Bradshaw was just telling me. I saw him a couple weeks ago. He goes, "Dude, that entrance was unfucking believable."
But One Night Stand was the greatest. Like, how do you feel there? Does it ever get old? Do you still get charged up for it?
No, I don't. I haven't seen it. I can't even remember the last time I saw it.
Even now when you go out, when you hear that.
Oh yeah, there's still something because 20 times at least. I don't really want to go. I don't want to get on a plane more than like 20 times in a year. You know what I mean? So I could probably work every weekend if I really wanted to. But yeah, but every week, like the 20 weekends a year, I'm flying somewhere doing autographs, and they always have me come in because they pay me one number, you know what I mean? So they want to use me the right way. I said, listen, bring me in. I'll sign an hour before the show. Use me right before intermission. I'll cane some heel or something like that, and then have people come take pictures with me. So I'm in and out before the show's even over. You know what I mean? I'm back in my hotel before most of those indie shows are even over because a lot of those shows just go forever and ever.
Forever.
Indie shows now.
And I went to we brought back ECW. I was at the first ECW, I think the one they did at the Wells Fargo Center. Wasn't it like 4th of July night, the first one?
I know it was hot, and I know I leaped to it. You know, one of those guardrails that they have outside, like I did a running leap over one of them just to prove to my son that I could do it still. I just made it by like an inch. He said.
Well, I was sitting there and I'm jacked up for ECW, and then the zombie came out. And I'm like, what the
dude? You should. All right. So before that, like, I have no idea what's going on because, dude, I was just trying to stay away from people. Me and Sabu, we would never dress in the locker room because it was our show and then there was another show too. I don't know. It was one of the SmackDown. There was a couple shows going on, you know. So we couldn't be near any of those people. We just hate. So most of the time, me and him were underneath a stairwell or something somewhere in a janitor's closet or something because it was just so crazy there. But what was the question?
No, I was just asking about the new ECW and how you felt about it.
Oh yeah. So one of the producers grabs me and he goes, I don't know this guy from a can of paint yet because this is like our first show. And he walks up and he goes, which one do you want to cane? And there's a fucking alien. There's a little dude. There's a little like tiny dude there that weighed about 60, 70, 80 pounds in a green alien, you know, like a typical, like what you would think an alien would look like from the 70s or whatever, you know, from like a Bart Simpson show. Like, and then there was Timmy who was just like, because it's not clicking in my head that it's our first night on Sci-Fi Network. So they wanted to open up the show with this was their way of being sci-fi. I mean, it was so ridiculous. I'm like, are you kidding me, people? And that just turned me off too. But I picked the zombie only because I knew Timmy. I had worked with him on an indie show for Frank Goodman before. One of those 6-hour shows that Frank Goodman would have every couple months. But yeah, so I knew him, and that's why I picked him to cane him for that.
And it was crazy because I heard the music, and I'm like, and I was pumped, and I'm like, this ain't Enter Sandman. What's going on here? And they took that away. They took the beer away from you.
Yeah. They systematically just
And you're the one to me that started all that. Austin got that from you. I love Austin.
Oh yeah, well, but he gives me credit for it.
Yeah.
He says he got the idea from me. I mean, it was obvious. I was his last 3 matches before he went to WWE. Right. Me, him, and Mikey, 3 ways.
Yep. Oh my God. Well, you know, it's funny. Without even knowing you, I kind of knew you didn't like it there. I'll tell you why. I went to one of the shows, and this is before we're walking in, and there's guardrails along the Wells Fargo Center. And I went, shit, that's the Sandman. You weren't even in the locker room. You were talking to fans outside. and I went up and talked to you for a little bit.
Yeah, I hated it.
He must hated it in that fucking place.
Oh, dude. No,
you were hanging with us. It was great, but I was like, man.
Some guy like RVD could deal with it more. Dreamer could deal with it totally. You know what I'm saying? But like me and Sabu, it just wasn't us. You know what I mean? We can't handle people just talking shit all day. Oh, catering was horrible. Oh my God, it was so bad going to catering. I would wait till everybody left. I don't care if there was only peanut butter and jelly left. I couldn't go to catering when everybody else was there. Because everybody, dude, it's like everybody's trying to make their scene, whatever they're, however they think they're trying to look good. It's happening in catering, you know, because everybody's there and everybody's like, it's hard to explain, you know, with all these people with egos and shit like that. But it's just pomp and fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? It's pomp and bullshit. That's what it is.
Yeah. And you went to one of my favorite stories you tell is how you got drafted to Raw.
Mark Carano. Well, this happened twice to me with Carano. He called the one time he called me and he said the first time that he called me and I hung up on him, he says that they wanted to bring me into WWE, and I said, I don't know who the hell you are, and I hung up on him. And I think maybe Dreamer had to call me and tell me, no, that guy's real, and then I had to hang up with Dreamer, and then he called me back. The next time, and now anybody else on the planet would have loved to hear this news. Hey, you're getting drafted to Raw. I said, dude, I have no idea what a draft is. And if you knew anything about wrestling you knew they didn't have a draft. And I hung up on them. I didn't watch the show. I never watched their show. I had no idea that there was a draft. And then he calls me back. He goes, Hack, this is Mark again. I'm not kidding you. You got drafted. Yes, we do have a draft every year. I was like, oh, we do? And I said, oh. And I said, well, I don't want to go. I told him I don't want to go. He goes, what do you mean you don't want to go? You have to go. I said, I do? I said, I'm an ECW guy. He goes, no, they want you Raw. And you got to be in Raw, whatever, however many hours it was away from there. And then I just got there, and I was just even more miserable than I ever was. Because at least I had friends in the locker room with me when in ECW, you know what I mean? And I had known the show. He was with us, the show, because he was a bouncer at the Lila's Den in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I know that.
Back in the day. So I knew him. And Andrew Test was there with us. He was a great dude, so I would hang out with him. And then they brought me to Raw, and you got to understand, everybody in that, when you get drafted to Raw, they're drafting you to put you in somebody's spot on TV. They're not drafting you just to draft you and not use you. You're getting drafted to take somebody's freaking spot. So everybody in the locker room was like, oh, I hate this fucking guy. I don't know what's this guy doing here. Why is he here? That's how it is, dude. And it's brutal. It's brutal. Half of me wishes that I could have lasted, that I could have been a little bit more tolerant, but it just wasn't real.
You're real. That's why everyone relates to you. I
hated it so much.
And your last trip with them was it South Africa you went? The big tour?
Oh, yeah, I had it. I was so done. I just went ape shit crazy in freaking South Africa.
Any good stories about who were you drinking with, who you hanging with?
No, that was the big night was all of us. It was like me, Cena, I mean maybe Umaga, some of the girls then that were over then. The one with the red hair. I'm so bad with names, dude. It's like I'm so bad with names of who people are. But yeah, I just had I was done with the company then. So, and I knew I was getting fired.
You left out of there.
But dude, you have to understand, I had already asked for my release twice when SummerSlam, when they took the beer away from me because Austin was coming back for SummerSlam. So in June, before, like 2 months before SummerSlam, Johnny Ace calls me into his office and he says, you can't drink beer anymore. I said, all right, well, give me my release then. He goes, no, don't give me a release. They gave me a raise. He gave me a $50,000 a year raise. I went because I was still on my, I think that deal was back then, minimum was like 75,000, I think, like that. So he bumped me to like 125 or 150 when they took the beer, and that made me stay. I was like, all right, well, You're going to pay me another 50. But that didn't even matter because you made more money there just being on one pay-per-view. You know, like WrestleMania that year when they paid all of us $42,000 a piece for that match with us against the New Breed. There was like 8 of us. It was me, Striker.
I was there. I went to Detroit.
Yeah. Well, that one we got 42,000 for that match, and there was 8 of us in it, but we were 5, so there was only 2 matches after us. But just think about that money that's just involved there. If that was 2 guys, each one of those guys is making 200 G's for that match. When I say, dude, these spots are worth a lot of money, dude, and it brings the worst out in people.
Oh, shit. Yeah, our buddy's Marty Miller. I don't know if you know Marty. Marty was a camera guy there.
Oh, Marty! I love Marty. Marty was one of the guys. I used to hang out with the camera guys. Marty was great. They actually he said, "Yo, I could get you on the sidelines because they used to do college football." And he said I could hold one of those like cones on the sideline if I wanted to and get paid $300 a game to do it.
Marty's a good buddy of ours.
Marty was great. He was from around here too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Marty was great. The cameramen were all great.
Yeah, he's just one. I just texted him the other day. He was in London with the.
Yo, tell him I said what up. He'll appreciate that. There's a lot of guys they didn't care about the cameramen or something like that, but they were the only real ones. Everybody else was so fake.
Yeah, I've had many a drink with Marty. He's the best. Now you worked. I gotta say, I saw it on Triller TV. Your final match, which was absolutely brilliantly done.
Hey, Joey Janela put that together.
Wow.
That was all Joey Janela. That was his whole idea. That whole thing.
The way you put it, the way you're getting hit and beat up, it reminded me like being in your room as like a kid playing wrestling. You know, wrestling man beating the shit out.
Well, I used to say to people, like when I had that strip club in Delaware, Hack Strip Club, and there was a wrestling school in the back. I used to tell people I didn't do much of the training. Gary the Pitbull was doing most of the training there. And but when I showed up, I would tell these guys, I said, eventually you should be able to have a match with nobody. And really you should be able to have a match with nobody when you're out there.
Right.
If you think about it, if I'm whipping somebody in, dude, I'm not touching him. I'm not supposed to be pulling him hard. You know what I'm saying? You're out there. You should be able to do this with nothing. And anybody good should be able to do that. I wish I could have done it, though. Like when I was younger, it would have been even a better match. But with the 15 refs running in and having the best porn star on the planet there and then Cactus coming out. Dude, we were trending. We were 3rd in the planet trending right after that happened.
If anyone hasn't seen that, it's still got to be on Triller TV, right, or whatever it was.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
I bought it just for that. It was like that,
nice.
And it was worth it, man. Oh my God, I was going crazy.
Yeah, that was fun. Oh, I was nervous, though.
Were you?
Yeah.
How was it, Cactus? Now you didn't know Cactus was there, right?
Dude, that all happened that day. That the negotiations were going on at 3:00 in the afternoon. Negotiations were going on with my agent and him. He did it for free.
Wow.
Cactus did it for free just for me. I had no idea until afterwards that he did it for free. Oh, Cactus don't come cheap, but he knew that. But he appreciated it that me and him were in integral parts of both of our careers then. You know what I mean? Because he gets done working with me, he goes right to WWE. You know what I'm saying? So he knows that I helped him get there. You know what I mean? Not that I was trying to help get him there, but that's just the way it is when you're out there. It's like that dude Osprey. That dude makes any move anybody does to him, he makes look great. That dude is so good because he makes everybody look good, and there's not a lot of people that can do that. Is make people look great.
And you're a Philly guy, Hack. So we're Philly guys. So we want to do a.
Yeah, what are the Phillies doing right now? Hey, it's a good Wheeler against Skeens against Wheels.
6-2.
Up 6-2.
We're up 6-2. It was nothing in the second. What is it, like the 4th now?
Apparently, they're hitting the Scars, the guy from the Pirates. Paul, yeah.
We're going to ask you some Philly questions. Favorite, Hack, if you don't mind, favorite Philly sports team?
Favorite game?
Sports team in Philadelphia.
Dude, you got to understand when I grew up, it was 1980. I was 17 years old. The Flyers, the Sixers, the Phillies, and the Eagles all went to the championship that year, and only the Phillies won. But dude, we didn't have freaking phones in our pocket then, dude. I was at games all the time. You know, you were going down. It didn't matter what the sport was, dude. Anything I was going down to. But now I would say to watch it's close. I really like basketball to watch more, but football's more over. And baseball as well.
What about Big Five? Were you a Big Five fan?
Well, dude, but your original Big Five isn't my original Big Five. My original Big Five has like Drexel in it, LaSalle. You know what I mean? I forget who was Georgetown in there? No, they were. No, that was the East back then. Yeah, but the Big Five was crazy back in the younger days. I played a game at LaSalle's. Well, I don't know, a tournament game when I was in high school.
Oh, really? Yeah. You know Speedy Morris?
I know of him. Don't know him.
That's my dad.
Get the hell out of here!
Swear to God. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's my dad. I didn't get his. I'm not
great. I love that.
Yeah, that's my dad, man.
You should be on my podcast. Hey, let me talk to Speedy's kid.
I would love to. Your podcast, by the way, we're gonna plug that. I love your podcast because it's just like just guys hanging out.
Yes, this is exactly that's the same exact feeling that I got with you guys.
Yeah, it's the best.
Just bullshitting. Man. Yo, tell me, what did you guys think about Obafemi coming out and decided, I'm not going to take a title shot. I'm going to go take with Braun.
We talked about it like we talked about it like it's too rushed. Like I don't know why they're pushing him over so much. I thought they should have had Brock interfere at King of the Ring and cost him King of the Ring because you knew it's too early for him to be fighting Roman Reigns or somebody. He's not going to sell Yeah,
but they just made the whole King of Ring look like nothing.
Yeah.
How many matches are in the King of Ring?
Yeah.
In the King of the Ring, dude, like 20 matches altogether, maybe?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, they made it worth nothing. That company is booking by the second, dude.
Yeah.
It's
look at some of like the trajectories of the guy. Like Jey Uso had the belt a year ago.
Oh, I say the same thing.
And now this, right? I don't know your thoughts, but I don't know why they've never given LA Knight some more of a bigger push. And now you got Sami Zayn, and I like Sami Zayn, but I don't. Yeah, the whole thing is just.
You sound like me.
Yeah,
I say the same thing. Sami Zayn's too small.
Yeah,
he's too small to be a heavyweight champion. Huh?
You like LA Knight?
Don't love him.
Don't love him.
Don't love him.
Who's your favorite guy now, like today?
But it's a couple of guys like Ospreay, Omega, the Japanese guy that Ospreay and Omega work against. Who's that guy? The Japanese guy there? They're top Japanese dude there. You guys are killing me. Yeah, but guys like that, like WWE, it's a girl. I like the girls in the WWE more than the guys.
They're my favorite.
They're the best.
Yeah, I like Mommy and I like Tony, and I don't know what happened with Tiffany in this last match with her, but she looked like shit in the champions match like a week ago or whatever the hell it was.
I'm always a Charlotte fan, Joey.
Yeah, I'm a Charlotte. Yeah.
Dude, she's gonna have to work that. What's her name? The horrifying girl, the black chick, the big black chick, Jade. I think they're putting Charlotte with Jade freaking in at SummerSlam. Oh, dude, she's got to be pissed being chained to Jade for a match. She is so bad.
Well, so speaking of SummerSlam, we were talking about this beforehand, right? Like, do you put Sami Zayn? So now you know that it's going to be Roman versus Seth Rollins is going to main event Sunday night. Do you put Sami versus whoever for Saturday night? Like, do you think Sami can carry the show?
Nope. No, well, I just thought he was a transition champion no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they put that belt. See, originally I thought like I had to think everybody thought that that the reason why they gave the belt to Sammy was for Obi to take it off of Sammy, so Gunther or Cody didn't have to lose to Obi.
Right.
That's why I thought they put that belt.
I thought the location had something to do with it too. Thought being in Saudi Arabia and Sammy being he's definitely Muslim and stuff. Like I thought that like he came out in the garb. Like I think they're put like TKO is invested by the Saudi money. Like I have to think at some point they want to get their bang for their buck with those shows.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they're getting paid plenty of money to go over there.
Oh, I'm sure.
30 million.
Last question, Hack. What's your favorite cheesesteak place?
Oh, it's I don't know if it's around anymore. I got asked that earlier today. It was always Jim's at 5th and South until it burnt down. And then I think it moved, but I haven't been to it since it moved. But back in the day, Jim's was the best.
Oh, you're the best. And this is the real last question. I know it's your last match, but it's not the last time you will do your entrance.
Oh no, I've done it since then.
That's okay.
Yeah, that was just my last match, but I always go in and cane somebody every other weekend.
That's the best.
It's lovely to still get paid, boys, to go out there and just cane somebody.
Well, where can we find your podcast, Hack? What can you say on that?
Dude, I don't know. You guys who can push it better. Dude, my son tells me I'm the only guy that doesn't know the name of his podcast. I say Sandman.com, but they say it's not that.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the show. Check it out. It's a phenomenal podcast.
Thank you.
Sandman, Hack, this has been a thrill of a lifetime, really, for all of us.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
All right, peace, gentlemen.
All right, buddy. Peace.